just wanted to make bring it to your attention that this is a presentation by Crown Hydro. Their representatives are here. Staff has not seen the presentation, so we won't be able to comment on it. The person that starts this presentation for Crown Hydro will be Bob Henches, and Bob is here.
Okay, why don't we have the representatives come up and they'll identify themselves for the record and make a presentation. Commissioner Dietzick.
Mr. Chair, I didn't know who I put this on the agenda till you told me you did. And people have been calling me and writing me that they would like a chance to speak also.
Okay.
So when Mr. Hinges is done, maybe we could hear from some of the people who are here who have a different point of view.
Okay, right now it's a study report item, and it's not an action item, so why don't you go ahead?
Can I ask a question as well?
Commissioner Vreeland.
It seems like such a strange way to do things. I mean, a member of the public just handed me the proposal. It seems like if we want to have an orderly process and to consider things and really look at the details, this is something where the chair should require that this be in our board packets for us to examine. I mean, doing things on the fly like this just doesn't seem like good public policy. I'm not sure how this got to be. I mean, no one has given me a proposal, and there's a proposal out there on the desk. I mean, it just seems very odd and not the best protocol for us to really evaluate a proposal.
Okay, thank you for your comments. This is a study report item. I did not put this on as an action item. There is no motion right now. Commissioner Young.
Yes. Having a study report item when, in fact, we are just now being handed the proposal. So I agree with Commissioner Freeland, but more importantly, I have a question about why we're even having this dialogue. Because I thought we voted quite a long time ago that we weren't really interested in doing this project.
It's on the agenda. I didn't know about it, and when I looked at the way it was written on here, update Crown Hydro proposal, Crown Hydro representatives, I kept looking for a report.
Okay.
And am prepared to make a motion that we do establish the CAC and the EAW process and get it going.
Commissioner Kummer indicated she has a motion. I think what we really need to decide, and maybe people can speak to this, is, you know, where are we going to go? Where are we going to go today on this? I mean, for the most part, our staff hasn't taken a look at it, and I think that's a major issue. Do we vote on any kind of a resolution or set up a CAC when we haven't really approved the project as such? So what is the CAC intended to do? And also, should this have been presented to staff first so staff can take a look and evaluate it with what has been presented before, and then, you know, then the board, or at least the committee, should be taking a look at it. So with that in mind, I'll call on President Olson.
Thank you, Chair Fine. I did want to speak to Commissioner Kummer's motion.
She hasn't made the motion.
I believe she did, didn't she?
No, I said I'm prepared to make one.
Oh, all right. Well,
and so I haven't, go ahead.
Then I'm going to speak to her preparation of a possible motion, I guess.
Well, and the one thing I'll caution before is if we go ahead, then the question is, do we have members of the public speak, since we're going to vote on something here? And how long are we going to be here till? Because I can tell you it'll be a long time.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Dietzick. You know, this project has had public input for quite a while. There's been public comment for a long time on this proposal. And this proposal has been looked at. You know, there was an initial presentation or an offer from Crown Hydro. And I've never really put a huge value on the monetary implications. For me, this project isn't about, well, how can we produce some money for the park board? The money part is nice, that's great, but I certainly wouldn't base my decision on that. I really look at this as an opportunity to produce energy, clean energy. When you look at the situation that we have and what the state is moving towards in producing clean energy, I think this is really in alignment with the direction that we're hopefully moving. There's lots of different ways to produce alternative energy, but I think this is an excellent one for that. I think we should look at, or we should move ahead with having a citizens advisory committee.
The full board is ultimately going to decide this. My feeling is that full board's got to be in favor of Crown Hydro, which they have not on the previous proposals. It clearly did not pass twice before. I think Commissioner Kummer and I are probably the only ones here who probably voted for it each time. So, you know, should we be going ahead, you know, promoting a CAC when we're not absolutely certain that the board is in support of these new Crown Hydro proposals and we haven't taken public input, which we normally don't do in front of the full board? We would do it here.
So I can't believe that we're moving to have a CAC before our staff has had a chance to review this and make a recommendation to us about what they think. Whether they think this is a good move on our part or not a good move on our part. I just think it's a premature step to be talking about a CAC before the staff has had an opportunity to give us their read on this proposal.
Again, it's just really bad public policy to have a study item that isn't really a study item, that becomes a motion that moves these things forward without really looking at the details. I mean, I'm trying to read on the fly here, and I've got 16 questions, and we've gone way over our 20 minutes. This just isn't a good way to do things, and I think we got to at least give it to our staff for a once-over. We got to send it back to the lawyers and see if there's, if we get nothing from this, why are we having this conversation? And that question has not been answered by our legal staff. I mean, we may get to keep $0 of this. Wouldn't that be a good thing to know before we went forward?
My motion is a friendly amendment, which you probably don't think is very friendly, but I want to go to just bullet number 3, which would say, staff be directed to review and make suggestions to the board regarding the proposed Crown Hydro lease agreement.
All on the committee in favor of the friendly amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Oppose? It passes.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Chair, just a point of information.
Commissioner
I
Dietzick?
apologize to the public for not being able to hear you tonight.